Do you like my crochet snitch? My friend Jessie made it for me. Thanks, Jessie. I still have this. Can't really see the Harry Potterness of my t-shirt. Oh fuck. Oh no. Oh no, everything's going wrong. I'm wearing a Harry Potter t-shirt, so it's Harry Pottery. If you haven't guessed already, I'm here today to do the Harry Potter tag. I was tagged by Kirsty on Books, who is awesome. I will link her channel down below. I'm so excited about this tag and the fact that I was actually tagged, because that is pretty cool. So I'm going to jump right in. The first question of the tag is, what's your favourite Harry Potter book? From what I've seen of this tag, the book I'm about to say is usually someone's least favourite book. And I love them so much. I don't understand why people choose them as the least favourite of the Harry Potters. But I have two copies, and they are these two. Love, love, love. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I really like early Harry Potter before it got kind of dark, but I like how you have a bit of everything in this one. I like the flying car. I love Ron as a character, and like he's in it quite a lot in this one. I like just the simplicity of it. I like how it's quite short. I like Tom Riddle. I think Tom Riddle and the Chamber of Secrets itself is really cool. I just think it's one of the best standalone Harry Potter novels, if that makes sense. Like, I think you can read it and then like you don't have to read the rest, if that makes sense. I don't know. But Harry Potter, the Chamber of Secrets. The next one is, what's your favourite Harry Potter movie? I'm going to be really boring, and my favourite is Chamber of Secrets as well, because I really like the two early ones, the ones directed by Chris Columbus. I really don't like David Yates' directing style. I really don't like it. I don't at all. And I think the films gradually get worse after. I think the third and fourth one are really good, but I think they get worse after that. But yes, Chamber of Secrets is my favourite. The next question is your least favourite book. And I think my least favourite book is probably, I think, Order of the Phoenix. But that might just be because it's so long and you don't remember everything in it, maybe. And I haven't read it in years. Yeah, so I'm going to say Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Because, like, I'm not actually a big Sirius fan. Like, I like Sirius, but a lot of people, like, love Sirius. And I never really mesh well with him. Yeah, so, I mean, I was upset at the end of Order of the Phoenix. Spoiler. But it wasn't the end of the world for me. So, if Ron would have died. The next question is parts of the book or movie that made you cry. I cry at so many movies, man. For the books, I remember crying so much in Deathly Hallows, basically the whole way through. But specifically Dobby's death. My housemate's back. And now he's leaving. Yeah, specifically Dobby's death and Fred's death. I think Fred's death is the saddest moment for me. I can't even with Fred's death. But I also cried when you think Harry's gonna die when he goes into the Forbidden Forest. But in terms of the books a lot as well, and the films, I really cry at the end of the first film and the end of the second film when everyone's like clapping Neville or clapping Hagrid. I really think that's really touching. So basically everything. I cry everything. Oh, and like the movie, the epilogue part of the movie where the train's moving off and the music builds up. That's like childhood, you know? That's childhood sound, and it just like, you're just like, oh my god, it's over, everything is finished, I'm gonna cry. That is how that affects. The next question is, if you could hook up with any Harry Potter character, who would it be? I'm kind of asexual, so I'm gonna take hook up to be like, have a romantic relationship with, and, you know, marry and stuff like that. and this might be a surprising one, but I mean, I think younger me would have said Ron Weasley. But I like Hermione, however much I don't care to admit it. So I think that I would be so in love with Charlie Weasley. And I feel like because he's not in it that much, you can kind of put your own imagination onto him. And I freaking love dragons. Like, my friends will know that anything with dragons, I'm like, yes. Even my favourite band is Imagine Dragons, so... And I think that we would get along, and I'd get to go to Romania and see dragons, and it would be amazing. So definitely Charlie Weasley. And then I'd be part of the Weasley clan as well, and I could hang out at the Burrow with everyone. So Charlie Weasley is the character that I would want to hook up with. The next question is favourite character. And if you haven't guessed already, my favourite character is Ronald Villiers Weasley. He's just such a cool character, and I feel like I hate when people dislike him because he's such a complex character, and he's like, oh, David Yates man. I think that's the reason why I really don't like the movies, in some respect, because they ruin Ron. They ruin Ron so much. He's so cool, and I really like his inferiority complex, but he still chooses to be best friends with the worst person to be best friends with if you have an inferiority complex. And he cares so much about his family. Like, more than a 17-year-old boy potentially would, if that makes sense. He's such a good character and a good role model. I wanted to model myself after him. So Ron Weasley. Next question is, what would your Patronus be? I'd like it to be something cool, like a phoenix or a dragon, or even something like a fox, because, you know, cunning. But I do just think that my Patronus would be a golden retriever dog, because I freaking love dogs so much, and golden retrievers are my favourite breed. And I remember watching Homeward Bound as a kid, and Shadow is just my favourite thing ever. And I feel like if I had to think of something happy, I would probably think of puppies and, like, picture the moment that I get my own puppy, and that would be my Patronus moment, I think. And I feel like it would just manifest itself as a golden retriever, because it just makes the most sense. So a golden retriever, I think. Out of the Resurrection Stone, the Invisibility Cloak, or the Elder Wand, which one would you choose? So which of the Deathly Hallows do I want? And, you know, I'm going to be not sensible. And I would totally pick the Elder Wand. Like, I've tried to reason with myself, but I just would pick the Elder Wand because it's the coolest one. And I would like to be really, really good at magic and spells, and it would just amplify that so much. So, plus I don't really need an invisibility cloak, you know? Like, or Resurrection Stone. I mean, the Resurrection Stone is kind of the cop-out one, isn't it? But, yeah, Elder Wand all the way. I'm sorry. Okay, so the next question is, what Hogwarts house would you be in? Now, give me a second. Can you guess yet? I would be in Gryffindor. I would be in Gryffindor so freaking hard. Okay, so next question is, if you could meet any member of the cast, who would you meet? This is quite a funny story, actually. I would have said I would meet Rupert Grint, because obviously Ron is my favourite character. But I have met Rupert Grint. I went to go see Mojo I think last year or the year before? Last year, I think. It was a play that was at the West End, and I had Rupert Grint as well as Colin Morgan, who plays Merlin in Merlin, BBC Merlin. And I was with a friend I met there, and the stage door was really crowded. So, because we were like, I wasn't really that bothered about, I was going to see them on stage. So we went and sat like behind the building, so we could just go on the computer and just scroll through Tumblr until the doors opened. So we were just there. But then suddenly the fire exit, which was kind of in the building, opened, and there was just Rupert Grint right there, who was smoking a cigarette. So thanks, Rupert, for ruining that childhood. But yeah, we just kind of stood there for like 5-10 minutes talking to Rupert. I didn't say anything particularly interesting. But yeah, I met Rupert Grint. That is a thing I can cross off my list. So who would I next like to meet? Dan Rad. Dan Rad is so cool right now. I feel like I could be friends with Dan Rad, I think. Out of the three, I feel like that's the one I could be the most friends with. Have you played the video games? And I totally have. I used to get them out of the library, the video library, and I used to get the games out, and then you'd be able to keep them for like 5 days, and then I would play them and then take them back. Before I could afford to buy them myself. My favourite one is Chamber of Secrets, funnily enough, because I think that's the coolest one. You can explore the castle. I hate like the later ones where they kind of, especially Goblet of Fire, when it makes it like levels. I thought that was awful. Next question is, if you're if you played in a Quidditch team, which position would you have? I'd totally be a beater because it's just the most fun, and I'm actually quite good. The sports I've always been quite good at are like bat and ball sports, like rounders or cricket and stuff like that. So I think the beater would be my best position anyway. Okay, so the next question is, were you happy with the ending? Everyone is kind of negative about this, and I'm not gonna lie, yes, I was happy with the ending. I enjoyed the cheesy epilogue. I feel like if it had just ended after the end of the Battle of Hogwarts, I'd have like a lot of questions about, so what happens? Like, do Hermione and Ron eventually stay together? Do they have children? I feel like I would have that sort of thought. So I really appreciate the kind of cheesy epilogue. Like, I mean, there's a lot of fanfics and things, and like thoughts that fans have about like the next generation of Harry Potter. And without the epilogue, we wouldn't really have the kind of characters that we kind of like to build upon in our heads. So I like the epilogue. So put me with that unpopular opinion. The final question is, what does Harry Potter mean to you? This is a very personal question, I think, but I will be vague and try and tell you. I had an unconventional childhood in some respects. In some respects it was very happy, and in some respects it was quite difficult. But throughout the difficult times, there was a constant thing in my life, which was Harry Potter. And the last book came out at a very pivotal time in my family life. And I feel like it really wrapped up a certain period of my life, if that makes sense. I consider the Harry Potter books to be completely formative to me. I consider it sounds really cheesy, but I consider the Harry Potter books to be a kind of second parent to me, if that makes sense. And I feel like they were my friends, and I learned a lot. Without really knowing, I was learning a lot. But a lot of my principles and my kind of personality traits, I feel like, were exemplified in Harry Potter and kind of given to me almost. A lot of my happy childhood memories revolve around me waiting for one of the books to come out, reading one of the books, talking about the books with my friends, getting my brother to read them. So I couldn't really tell you what Harry Potter meant to me, except that I couldn't really imagine growing up without it. Like, I read the first book when I was 6. I read the last book when I was 14. And I feel like that is just a long time. And then the films didn't finish until I was 18, 17. So it's been a long time that I've had Harry Potter in my life. And yeah, I couldn't imagine life without it. And feel like that's a good place to finish. So I'll see you